Welcome to the Nehemiah Entrepreneurship Community Podcast. I'm your host, Patrice Tsague. I'm here today with a new member of our community, not just a member, but a leader of our community, Trudy Hankins. Trudy, did I say your last name right, Hankins? Did I say it
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Trudy, welcome to the E-Community Podcast. How are you?
I am doing very well. Thank you, Patrice.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you're gonna love Trudy, and she's a force to be reckoned with, and you're gonna understand why in a minute. But first, let me tell you a bit about Trudy. She's a wife, a mom, multi-business owner ranging from business coaching to retail. Trudy holds a bachelor's of science in business administration and a master in organizational leadership. Throughout her business career, she's worn many hats from founder to administrator, even a hard hat as a coordinator in a building project. She's done it all. As you can tell, she's the all around get it done type of gal, a true entrepreneur at heart. Trudy has served her local church throughout her life in many roles. Truly, I would say, even a biblical entrepreneur. Chi Alpha Chapter Director, Administrator, co leader, Pastor, Business Director, and more. Totally more than 20 years of investment locally and globally to spread the gospel. Truly desire to see entrepreneurs learn, grow, and achieve. Truly desire, sorry, to see entrepreneurs learn, grow, and achieve is the center of her calling and investment. This is why she's passionate about launching a Nehemiah Entrepreneurship Community Center in Dallas, Fort Worth. Her favorite pastime, setting goals and accomplishing them, all the while sipping on chai, vanilla latte. I think just like my wife loves chai latte.
Yep, it's my favorite.
Well, Trudy, welcome. Trudy, you're gonna, I think, go down in history as the member of our community who, in the shortest amount of time, was was able to not only get certified but launch an e-community center. I think you got that record. Well, certification is coming up, but at least launch an e-community center. So is this kind of Trudy's way? Is this kind of how you roll, Trudy?
It is absolutely how I roll.
The get it done gal. So then we're going to talk about the launch of a new e-community center in Dallas, Fort Worth, in the United States. For those of you who are listening from around the world or watching, Dallas Fort Worth is a city in the United States of America, in the country, no, in the state of Texas. Though sometimes Texas like to see us as a country. And so, Trudy, for our friends from around the world, first, before we get into your journey, who you are, what prepares for this moment, and this upcoming center. By the way, we will be talking about a launch that is coming up in about 2 weeks exactly as of this day, where we're going to be doing a connect meeting and a seminar. We're going to be doing a ribbon cutting in Dallas Fort Worth. If you're watching and listening, you want to be a part of that. There's a link right here on the chat. You can also go to nehemiahecommunity.com. You can go to our events page, and there you can find out how to register and join us in Dallas Fort Worth for the launch of this e-community center. We'll be doing a seminar on the subject, the purpose of wealth, a connect meeting where you get to connect with other entrepreneurs there. We'll even feed you, and then of course you get to meet Trudy in person. Trudy, before we get into your journey and the development of the center, let's first talk about Dallas Fort Worth, because many of our listeners from around the world, they're wondering what in the world is that. So tell us about what is Dallas Fort Worth and where is it? What's the significance of the city in relationship to the state of Texas?
Yeah, so Dallas Fort Worth, the metroplex of Dallas Fort Worth is in the northern part of Texas. Texas is very, very, very large. It takes like 12 to 13 hours to go from one side to the other and from top to bottom. It's a very, very big state. So you have these two towns of Dallas and Fort Worth, and basically all of these sub communities have built up around it. And so they call this whole metroplex the DFW metroplex. So I am in the south part of the metroplex, and that's where DFW or Dallas Fort Worth, that's where it comes from.
Wow, I love it. What's the significance of that city to the state? Are there any key things that happen in that city? Why is it so unique?
Well, I mean, obviously, DFW is the best place for you to be in Texas. That's very clear. I mean, there's Austin and Houston and San Antonio, but DFW is so much better.
Wow. Now, one of the things that Google tells us that DFW is a major economic generator for North Texas. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just so many businesses, and it's just really, it's a very thriving. I mean, it's growing so much. So many people are moving to the DFW area.
Wow. I mean, over $37 billion in economic impact. You got a global major airport there in Dallas Fort
Mhm.
Worth. So it's a major area, and of course, Texas is one of the leading economies in the United States of America. So you are doing business and opening this center in a major economic center. Of course, all of us know about the reputation of Texas. Everything goes big in Texas. It's a big deal. So that's exciting. So Trudy, let's talk about your journey. So first, born and raised in Texas.
Actually, I was not. I'm a transplant. I moved to Texas about 9 years ago.
What brought you to Texas?
Well, we had just had a transition in Oklahoma, and we were trying to kind of figure out what the next steps were. And I had some future plans to move to Texas, and I was kind of thinking about going into teaching at a university, and was kind of in that direction. And that brought us to a local university here in the town that I live in. The town I live in is Waxahachie, and so we moved here with that kind of in mind, that that's where I would go. That's not where I ended up, but that's what brought us to Texas.
Awesome. So Trudy, while in Texas, you started, if you probably before, you started several businesses
Mm.
and you have a company today. Tell us a bit about your entrepreneurial journey, and kind of what led you to go into business.
Well, I really have a heart for entrepreneurship. I mean, I'm in constant mode of see a need, fill a need. And so, there's always something inside of me like, oh, I could start a business here, I could start a business there. So I've done several things, even back to when I lived in Oklahoma. My husband and I were pastoring a church, and it was a smaller community, and there was just a need for daycare. So our church, we started a daycare, and it did multiple things. It was providing jobs, it was filling a need in the community, it was helping children have stability. And of course, because we were a church, it was biblical based, childcare. So we did that, just absolutely created just a solid connection in the community and with the community and for the community. So that was really amazing. Obviously, I was overseeing the finances at our church and just making sure the administration and things like that was happening. Then when we transitioned to Texas, I was again trying to figure out like, well, what do I want to do? And I decided that I would go into the fashion industry, and so I ended up opening a women's boutique, and so that has been 6 years ago now, and it's just blown up. I went from being in home and online to being a storefront to being in my downtown merchants association, and I'm in kind of a 1 mile radius. There's 15 boutiques. So we kind of blow it up. We're a destination location, and we just get all kinds of traffic.
I love it. You actually were recently featured in a local, I think, paper or local TV program. Is that Tell us a bit about that and what led you there?
It was a TV program. So, I mean, I'll just have to be real honest. She contacted us, like we had no idea it was happening. And so she just randomly showed up in our Instagram, and we just automatically assumed it was spam. And so we actually didn't even answer her for a couple of hours because, it wasn't important. It was obviously spam. And so when we finally kind of looked into it a little bit more, and we decided that, oh, look, that's from a verified account. This must be real. And so it happened really fast. I mean, she made the appointment to see us the next day, and she showed up, and we did the interview, and then it was on the local NBC 5 station that night. And well, it wasn't local; it was the Dallas so the DFW local NBC station. And it happened really fast. And we asked her, we were like, "Why us?" Like we assumed she was doing a segment on Waxahachie, and she's like, "No, I picked you. Like I stalked you guys, and you guys are super solid, and I'm interested in entrepreneurship and how it works, and I picked you."
I love it. I love it. So, guys, we have a local celebrity here with us today. So, Trudy, along the way, by the way, let me first ask you, back then, did you ever have an idea that one day you'll be training, coaching, or be a part of a movement to help entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So one of the transitions that we made, so in the transition of going from Oklahoma to Texas, there was a small time frame there before we knew that we were coming to Texas, where I did actually start moving in the direction of coaching. And I will say that, like, I do have a really big heart to help people grow and become who God has created them to be. So there was this time where I did some pretty intense training on what makes a good coach, how to really coach people, how to help them move into a position of self-discovery rather than, I mean, it's always appropriate. Sometimes, you can't know what you don't know. And sometimes you just have to teach people. Completely fine with that and love that avenue as well. But sometimes it's just amazing to see the results when people have this aha moment of like, oh, that's what God called me to do. Like, I could totally do that. And it's really, really fulfilling for me to watch people arrive in that place.
Oh, wow, that is incredible. So along the way, you would then meet the Nehemiah Project. Again, we're talking with Trudy Hankins, entrepreneur, truly a leader with amazing experience, also has started a church. She is from Dallas, Fort Worth. We're talking about the launch of an e-community center in Dallas, Fort Worth, which this will be, I think, the fifth e-community center in the United States and the first one in the state of Texas. And we're talking about this launch, which there's an event coming up. Let me tell you about it. Make sure you register if you are in anywhere in the area of Dallas, Fort Worth. We're going to have a connect meeting with a seminar called The Purpose of Wealth, and you'll get a chance to connect with other kingdom entrepreneurs in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's on September 22nd. Make sure you sign up for that and join us there. Trudy will be there. You get to meet her, hear her vision about what she's looking to do in Dallas-Fort Worth. You will also have the next day on September 23rd, we'll have a ribbon cutting where at her local chamber, there'll be an official ribbon cutting announcing the official opening of the e-community center in that area. So Trudy, so along the way you were meeting my project. So tell me a bit about what led you to kind of be a part of my project and how your experience been so far.
I was introduced to Nehemiah Project at an event in actual Dallas, and I was absolutely blown away when I went to that event. The purpose of the event was to talk about, kind of how to establish how to establish a business, the biblical principles behind establishing a business. And I mean, honestly, I went in there with I'm kind of the person that wants to know everybody's motive. And so I went in there going, okay, let's see who these people are.
A little bit suspicious.
Absolutely, I was suspicious because, again, I mean, I've been a pastor. Like, don't take the scriptures and twist them. So I did go in checking out Nehemiah. Like, I wanted to know, is this legit? And it was 3 days. It was kind of fire hose of information, but because I have a business background, it was good. But it just was like, wow, these people really aren't twisting the scripture. Like, it's legit. They know what they're talking about. And then on top of that, my heart was just exploding because I'm like, these people, like, they get what's in my heart, and they're able to put words to all of the things that I've known and wanted to do and the direction that I wanted to go in. And I never had the words for it. And I was just I was just so, I mean, my mind was just blown because not only was it biblically based, it was solid. It wasn't weirdo stuff. And then it was everything that my heart was speaking. I was completely blown away, and I just knew I had to be a part of Nehemiah Project.
Wow. And that you did, and you became a part. Let's talk about that journey. How's that journey been for you?
Well, as my little skeptic self continues on, I have tested and tried everybody. And I have, again, I'm finding consistency all the way through the organization. And when there was a small little tiny idea that, there might be an opportunity to open a center, I was like, pick me, I want to do that. And so I just instantly was like, again, just pushing in because I have to tell my community about Nehemiah Project. And it's really not even about, it's not so much telling my community about Nehemiah Project. It's, I have to be able to show my community that the things that you've been missing and looking for are available. They're
Wow.
here, and I can be a part of helping you figure that out.
That is incredible. It reminds me, you experience something that you think is wonderful, and now you're saying, "Hey, how can I tell others about it?" But in this case, it kind of ties to also your sweet spot of being a coach, being a trainer, being an empower, also being a pastor. It's kind of all that combined coming together, right?
Absolutely.
But launching a center is not an easy feat, Trudy. You already operate a business, you founded a company, and now you're starting this second company. It's like your own business in that market, and this is a big market indeed.
Mhm.
So tell me a bit about any concern, reservation. Why do you think why Trudy? Why do you think this can work, giving what you already have in your plate and giving the big market you're taking on?
Yeah, so I just again, going back to the foundation of who I am, one of the really big things that I like to do and that I feel is important is finding that unique opportunity in every person. And even in my boutique is called Confident Shop, and it's true we do sell clothes. But what we really like to say is that we actually sell confidence, and clothes are just a unit of exchange.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? When somebody comes in the shop, and all people, but because we serve women, women have so many insecurities about, their outward appearance. And so we get the opportunity every day to speak into their lives and say, you look beautiful, and no, you don't, that negative self-image that you're seeing, nobody else is seeing that. And we get to build them up. So not only am I building people up in my women's boutique, but now I have the opportunity through Nehemiah Project and the DFW Center, I get to start building up entrepreneurs. I get to start helping them discover who they are and how they can get there. And I get to start providing them the tools for them to be able to get there.
I love it. Trudy, I love how you've captured, in a sense, I'm going to call it a mission,
Mhm.
a value, an initiative, disconnected from the tool or the product you're providing, and just seeing that tool or product as an instrument to achieve that objective, right? Because many individuals, when they start businesses, they're so attached to that product or that service versus focus on what's the outcome you're trying to bring forth. Your store is about helping women be confident. You
Yeah.
could have done it through beauty, through makeup. You could have done it through exercise, through training, coaching, whatever means. You chose to do it through the means of clothing. And now you're kind of saying, you know what? Now I'm going to be applying, helping entrepreneurs, women and men, to gain confidence in their call, get confident in their business journey, get confident in their purpose, in whatever, in the ability for them to create wealth for themselves. But I'm doing it through training and coaching. I mean, you're an amazing coach. I mean, that, as you know, it's hard for most people to make that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a stigma that people grow up with. It's like, well, I'd really like to be this, but people are expecting me to be that. So let me shift over to what I'm expected to be. And when you bring it back to a biblical basis and you help people start really understanding this is who God created me to be. And then when they start walking in the path of who they're created to be, like all of these things open up, all of the insecurities start dropping off, and the confidence starts coming forward, the knowledge and the power to just be who they are and be okay with who God created them to be. And then when you take that out to an even bigger thing, it's like if this person's being who they were made to be, and that person who they're made to be, and this person, it starts creating this big puzzle of strength in a community because people are operating in who they're supposed to be and who God created them. And so all of the areas are being met.
I love it. Listen, join Trudy and I. If you want to get more of this stuff, join Trudy and I, September 22nd and 23rd. We are going to be in Dallas, Fort Worth. I'll be there. Trudy will be there. Deborah will be there. And we'll have other entrepreneurs join us. We're going to first have a seminar and a connect meeting on the 22nd. We're going to feed you. It's going to be at a nice restaurant. Actually, you tell me this restaurant we're going to be in, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's a nice place. Is it true?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a steakhouse. It's awesome.
Oh man, the steakhouse. So if you're hungry, come join us. And we're going to deal with the purpose of wealth. We're going to help you understand the purpose of wealth and how to create sustained freedom through your business. And then we'll have a connect meeting. Trudy will share her vision. If you want to be a part of helping Trudy help entrepreneurs in the DFW area build confidence in fulfilling God's purpose and plan for their businesses and their lives, join us then. And then on the next day, at Trudy's Chamber of Commerce, we're going to do a physical ribbon cutting to fully make it official that the E-Community Center, DFW, is open. Trudy, let's talk a bit about what this center will be providing. So the center is open. What can people expect from the DFW Center?
We have 3 things that are going to be happening at the DFW Center. The first one's going to be coaching, obviously, right? We want to help people get where they want to go. The second one is going to be training and education. So not only are we going to help you get where you want to go, but we're going to give you the tools to get there. And then the third thing is going to be networking. We're going to give you the opportunity to meet with other people that are at your same stage, or maybe you're going to be able to meet somebody that's in a different season that is a direction that you're wanting to go. So you can start connecting with that person and getting some outside input and outside influence and learning from other people that are walking in your same path.
I love it. So when I come to that, I can expect some coaching, help me move from where I am to where I need to be, training and education, giving you knowledge, and connecting with folks who are where I am or a little bit ahead of me so that I can have a community to help me succeed.
Absolutely.
That is incredible. Trudy, so if someone be watching and listening and saying, well, wait a minute, aren't there other stuff already in DFW? What's going to make this unique or different than other things already happening there?
You know, I can't necessarily speak about everything else that is happening, but what I can say is that when you choose to be a part of the DFW Center, you're going to find community. Like it's so important to find community, to find people that you can connect with, to really embrace the direction. You know, we're going to be biblically based. If you're and you know what, if you're not biblically based, that's okay. We're not going to cram it down your throat because that's not helpful. But those principles are going to be there so that it's going to be ethical, it's going to be moral, and we're all going to be going in the same direction. So the DFW Center is just a place where you can put off the competition for corporate ladder climbing, and you can just be a part of people who are going in the same direction.
Oh, I love it. Trudy, 10 years from now, I have you back on this podcast and you're not talking about what you've been able to accomplish. What would you have liked to share then?
So what I've accomplished in 10 years is that we will have raised up just hundreds, and I mean that literally, hundreds of entrepreneurs that have either started their own business or they were stuck in a business and were able to move forward, into either profitability or succession, whatever there. And so we just have these entrepreneurs who are going from one place to the next, and that we saw that over and over and over. And even to the point that those entrepreneurs started training up other entrepreneurs and just making it bigger.
I love it. Listen, guys, join Trudy now on the 22nd of September and 23rd in DFW as we seek to launch this e-community center. You want to be part of this beginning so that 10 years later, we can look back together and say, look what God has done. Listen again, September the 22nd and 23rd, we're going to start with this seminar and connect meeting on the purpose of wealth. And then we're going to have a physical ribbon cutting. Join Trudy and I there. If you want to sign up and register, go to NehemiahEcommunity.com, NehemiahEcommunity.com. There you can go to our events page. You can find out how to sign up and register. There's also a link here, NehemiahEcommunity.com/event/DFW-center-launch September 22nd. Click that link. You can register. You can also find the ribbon cutting registration page. Register there, be a part. Listen, don't you leave yet, because I'm going to ask Trudy to give you one more word of advice. You don't want to miss that one. If you enjoyed our podcast, I want you to go ahead and share it. Friends share with friends that which they enjoy. You may know an entrepreneur who is going through their own journey or want to go through their own journey, may want to hear what Trudy shared today, encourage them, share with them. Share on your social media. Share with as many folks as you can to encourage them along the line of their entrepreneurial journey. You may know people in Texas, in DFW. You say, hey, listen, there's an e-community center coming in your hometown. Share with them and have them join us. It's a free event. Join us September 22nd and 23rd, or have them reach out to Trudy. I believe Trudy's contacts there as well, so that they might connect with him there. Team, put Trudy's email there just in case someone wants to reach out to her directly. Also, if you want to know more about the Nehemiah Project, how we can come alongside you and provide you with training, coaching, access to financing, visit our website, nehemiahecommunity.com, nehemiahecommunity.com. There you learn about training program, biblical entrepreneurship, identity and destiny, serve with love. It goes on and on. We have a passive income course coming up. You can learn about our coaching program, executive coaching, group coaching, elite coaching, how we can a coach come alongside you, help you go from one stage to the next. You can learn about our access to capital. Do you need debt or equity financing? How we can have you be a part of our investors network. Also, you can learn how to join our community. Listen, come join us so that we can transform the world together. Well, before we close, Trudy, we always like to leave our listeners and viewers with some word of advice. You've started a business that's running now. Which, by the way, I think you pass it on to your daughter, right? She's leading so if you go to the boutique, you may not see Trudy there because that's that. You know what? You got to teach them how to do that. My children, teach them how to work. That's her daughter. That's how she's able to do this. We got to have a part 2, by the way, Trudy, talk about that transition.
Okay.
Now you're starting a second business, an e-community center. Somebody's watching and listening. Lord, I haven't started one thing, let alone 2. Trudy, what advice would you give somebody who out there listening and watching? They're saying, what does it take? What's the key to being initiative to be able to launch something new in my city or my community that can serve people?
I'm going to use the word that's probably very much a made up word, and I'm going to call it stick-to-itivism. Because I mean, you have to decide this is what I'm going to do, because entrepreneurship is hard. It's not an easy path. And somebody doesn't just walk up with a silver platter and hand you all of the money you need and all of the wisdom that you need and all of the tools you need and just give it to you. So if you have discovered something that you want to do, then stick to it. Like don't give up. Keep following through and keep following through and keep asking the right questions and keep pushing, because eventually, as you keep pushing, you'll get past the obstacles and you will find success. But man, those obstacles will eat you alive if you let them. So stick to it, keep doing it. Don't ever give up.
I love it. Trudy, you're so right. A study was done as to what does it take to be a successful entrepreneur. They concluded one thing: it was not technology, it was not capital, it was not a talent or gifting. It was perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
It was the fact that they kept at it. They did not give up. By the way, I made a mistake. I've been saying September 22nd and 23rd. No, that's incorrect. September 13th and 14th. So make sure you have that down on your calendar. September 13th and 14th. If you come to 22nd, we're not going to be there. We'll be gone already. September 13th and 14th. Join us there. Trudy, I look forward to being with you in DFW. I'm looking forward to eating some barbecue chicken and enjoying some Texan hospitality. And thank you, Trudy, for joining our community and for, in such a short time, demonstrating the ability to get it done. You're going to make a huge contribution. 10 years from now, we'll meet again here. We'll talk about what God has done.
Let's do it.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our podcast. Listen, I want to pray for you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord enable you to steward those talents that are under your care. And to steward them just as Trudy is doing her own, in such a way that one day you'll hear those wonderful words. Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. Guess what? He'll now make you rule over much. God bless you. See you on the 13th and 14th.